Well, we're going to go ahead and get started, and then anyone who can join us later, will go ahead and pop in. And then, of course, we'll have the recording available for those who cannot make it. I already talked to a couple people that I know they weren't going to make it today, but we're going to watch the recording, and then hopefully we'll have more people join us. Okay. All right. So first, um, Vicky, we haven't seen you in a little while. What have you been up to?
Well, thanks for asking. I appreciate it. Yeah, so I'm no longer with Matter, which most people probably know. And some of the things that I have been working on lately, that as it relates to leveraging logistics, is Lee probably knows a little bit about this. So I have some friends who have started a new nonprofit, and it's called Revolved, and they are working globally with organizations at the startup level all the way up to well-established charities on the ground in Ukraine and in Africa to just help amplify their work. And so what Revolved is doing in um, Ukraine, and Lee can probably speak more eloquently about this because I know he is also involved a little bit as well. They are working closely with the Chalice of Mercy organization that's based in Ukraine and also Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and they're helping to procure specific medical supplies that they need. And Chalice of Mercy has a warehouse close to the front lines in the east, and they are distributing medical supplies directly to field hospitals and trench hospitals near the front lines. So I'm helping with raising awareness to what Revolved is doing by bringing them people who might want to learn more. And at some point, I would love to share a little bit more with you guys about the group. Once they have their website up and running, they're about 6 months old now. Their website's almost done, but I'll be happy to share it with you guys. And if
Awesome.
anyone would like to learn more about what Revolved is doing, I'd be happy to share.
Perfect. Awesome. Yeah. Incredible group of people. You've known them and been a part of teams with them for a long time. So I can't wait to hear as things take fruition and get off the ground what they're doing. And I know it's going to be amazing.
Thank
Um,
you.
and please tell them all hello for us.
I will.
Uh, all right, Lee, you're always up to 10, 15 things at a time. What are you working on?
Well, more of the same. Obviously, we receive and pack and then send medical supplies, food, clothing, fire protection gear. Probably the biggest thing since I've talked with you is that last January we sent a fire truck to Ukraine, and we're bidding on one right now to send a second one, and trying to develop that as far as being an ongoing part of what we do. That's its own unique challenges in terms of
Yeah.
just the expense of procurement and sending. But we have an agreement with the regional leadership of the Cherkasy Oblast to cooperate. And so what we're doing with them is working with their smaller departments because the smaller departments there often have equipment which is very old, doesn't work very well. Training is very minimal. They're volunteers, and looking at bolstering, in a sense, that aspect of their whole system so that then it's less weight or responsibility on the professional firefighters, which are there. The other thing which is new is that we're also partnering with Chalice of Mercy in that we are doing their sorting and their packing and warehousing until distribution point. So that's kind of ramping up, the frequency of what we're doing. Um, 2 weeks ago, we just sent out, I think, our 35th or 36th container since inception over 3 years, and looking to see doing some physical expansions of our facility, looking to see what can be done to help facilitate that on a on a more aggressive basis, kind of narrowing our focus in Ukraine to about 4 or 5 different locations where we're sending. We had sent up to, I think, about 15, and then realizing that, I just can't get back to them in a timely fashion. And so realizing that being too spread out was probably dissipating our effectiveness on the ground.
Okay.
So
Okay. And will you remind me, are you also trying to source the fire equipment from within Europe and kind of closer regions, or are you only sourcing it in the US?
we just source it in the United States simply because of accessibility.
Sure. Okay.
Um, the, uh, the turnout gear as such is readily available because OSHA requires
Yeah.
retirement of everything every 10 years. So we have a
Okay.
lot of that we send. And but then we realized that we were limited in terms of effectiveness because the trucks which they had could not use any of the accessories that we were sending. And so
Okay.
the easiest way to solve that problem was to start sending trucks. And so then what we're doing is we're making sure that the trucks are fully equipped with everything as needed in terms of fighting fires. Plus, then we'll send a couple of pallets of turnout gear. So basically, to be able to take a fire department, smaller fire department, and completely refit them with American things.
Okay. All right. Awesome. And then I had talked to John. I'm going to put his website in the chat right now. John at Vivo Blue. He hasn't been able to join us in a while, but I was chatting with him over the past few days again. And he is getting ready to ship more of his water filters to Ukraine through one of his other partners. So if anybody needs to be connected to him, he does have, I think, nonprofit pricing and has worked with the government to ship water filters, and they're pretty amazing. I've seen them in action, and so if anybody's interested in anything like that, then I'm happy to connect you with John as well. Um, and then Daria is head of our Ukraine office. So, our newly opened Ukraine office in Lviv in April. So, I'm glad she's able to join us, often working hard behind the scenes. So, Daria, first of all, you had recent attacks there and bombings over the past week. So, first of all, just tell us how everyone is doing. And we have people in Lviv and Odessa, correct?
Yes, you're right, Christy. So, first of all, right now our team is safe. Nobody is injured, and we are super lucky that everyone is safe right now. But in the last 2 weeks, Ukraine has suffered from new Russian attacks, mostly with rockets and drones. The attacks have damaged important buildings and caused power outages in many, many cities. First of all, like Kiev, Odessa, Kharkiv, those more central Ukraine or eastern Ukraine, they suffer more than us because I'm actually based in Lviv. Lviv is closer to Poland, so we are a bit better compared to the other cities. I know that in Kiev, many people lost electricity after strong attacks on energy system. Some buildings were also damaged, and in Kiev, if I'm not mistaken, around 20 people were injured. Um, the power is actually slowly coming back, but problems still remain. The same situation with Odessa. They also, team reported to me that they were sitting without electricity for more than 24 hours. But the situation is getting better over there too. In Lviv, there was also a huge, massive rocket and drones attack during last 2 weeks. And unfortunately for us, a few people were killed. The family, the kids were injured. So that's very and very, you know, hard for us to handle all of this. But we try to keep working. We try to move forward with the situation we have. There is nothing we can do right now. The only thing for us is to move on and do whatever we all do every day.
Yeah.
So this is the current situation we have. So I remember like 2 weeks ago, we spent the whole night in the shelters because they were like drones were flying over our heads like every 15 minutes. And you could hear like explosions, a lot of explosions everywhere. And when I like the next day, the part of the city was covered with the smoke all over the city. So yeah. Yeah, but the recent weekends for leave were comparatively like okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, while we have you, I want to ask, I'm constantly asking you questions through WhatsApp and things like
I
that.
know,
While
thank you.
while we have you here with everyone else, I want to, of course, give them the chance to ask you questions if they have them. But I think one thing, many of us are sitting in very safe places when we're able to chat with you. That is not your circumstance. So, we've opened an office there. And of course, for the last couple of years, it's been about humanitarian aid and getting that there. Now we've opened an official office there, and you guys are out soliciting new business. You travel to conferences. Um, how do you just get work done during the day? I think that's just, how is your team? How do they feel on a daily basis? How is it just trying to get through a normal day when you're trying to operate a business as well as be on the alert for alerts?
But just Christy, you have no choice. I mean, this is the way we live like the last almost 4 years, like 3.5 years. So you're just trying to get used to the new reality you are living in right now. So what I just do, um, I usually when I run to the shelter, I try to take the carry mat so I can lie down and sleep while they're like shelling us with the drones. And at some point, like when the war started, first I would say year or two, it was so scary, but now I'm more used to it and I can sleep in the shelter in the basement. Specifically me, I run to the parking lot. So I usually take the carry mat, lay down and try to rest, try to sleep because I know I need to work like next day. I need to do a lot of stuff. The rest of the team is trying to do the same because we have no choice. Otherwise, you won't rest, you won't be able to sleep at all, and you won't be able to do anything. So usually, uh, you know, um, the night is like you're sitting in the shelter. Next morning, you are like waking up, grabbing a coffee, and starting your day as nothing happens.
Well, anybody that when I get the chance to talk about our Ukraine office and brag on our team there, I always tell them that I want to be you when I grow up. We're so grateful to have you on the team, and you do an incredible job taking care of them and getting business done. And we're super grateful. And so two things. First, will you tell us about the upcoming conference that you're attending with Enrique and Stan?
Yes, of course. There will be a conference in Warsaw. The conference is the main topic is to rebuild Ukraine. There will be a lot of different companies, not only from logistics sphere, but all of the spheres you can imagine. The main point is discussion of rebuilding Ukraine. It's gonna be in November 12th. And 13th, if I'm not mistaken, in Warsaw. So I can send you guys a link if someone
I
is
just put it in
interested.
chat. Yeah.
You just did it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So Daria will
So,
be there, Stan will be there, and Enrique
yes,
will be there. So
yes, of
anybody listening to this call now or catching it later, they want to meet as many people as possible. So if you know somebody that's
course.
attending, then please we'll certainly put you in touch. But and then does anybody else have questions for Daria while we have her? Okay.
I do.
Okay.
How do you know when there's a warning that calls for you to go into a shelter?
So we have air alarms. So I have actually, if you probably, Vicky, you heard of it or not, but let me open on my phone. We have an app
What's an
with
app?
the air alarms. Sorry, Christy, you said something?
There's always an app. There's an app for everything.
Yes, there is an app. So basically, called in Ukrainian Tривога. So here, if you will be able to see, I can open the map of Ukraine. And here it shows me that air alarm is on right now in what regions. And once the air alarm goes on in Ukraine, like in Lviv, specifically my region is Lviv, it will show me like my phone will stop like beeping, with the sound telling me to run to the shelter. And also, if you go outside, you can see the sirens going on and on. So it means you need to run to the shelter. But to be honest, if I will run every time the alarm goes on, I'll like we had like, if I'm not mistaken, 2 or 3 alarms already today, and I never went to the shelter because if I will run to the shelter every time, I won't just work, I won't just leave. So usually we have this Telegram. Do you know Telegram? It's something like
Yeah.
WhatsApp.
Yeah.
You know Telegram, yeah. So basically, we have Telegram groups for Ukrainians where we can check what is happening, if it's like drones or rockets and which direction they are flying. So if I'll see the notification that something is like going to Lviv, to hit Lviv, then I will run to the shelter. If there are no notifications regarding like drones or rockets flying to Lviv, I won't go to the shelter. This is the reality because otherwise I won't be able to work or do or sleep or anything like that. During the nighttime, when the air alarm goes on, like I usually wake up, check all the channels. If something is flying like directly to Lviv, if not, I will go back to sleep. If yes, then I will run to the shelter. Sometimes when you fell asleep again after you woke up because of the air alarm and you check like everything is fine, nothing is flying towards to your city, and then you fell asleep again, and then you realize that you are waking up because of the sounds of explosions or drones flying near your house, then I will just wake up, hope like just put something on myself and just run to the parking lot. This is how it works for me.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing that. I
And
can't
how,
imagine how
no,
that's just become your way of life.
no. How far is the
Yeah.
shelter from you?
But just so I'm living like it's not, it's like I have a parking lot in my building. So it's just for me to take the elevator, like 6th floor, like down, and
Mhm.
then I'm on a parking lot.
Okay,
So it's not like private building,
right.
separate house or something. Yeah, it's more like a apartment type
Okay,
of building. Hmm.
okay. All right.
But like our accountant, Mariana, she lives in a private house and it's a disaster for her because she doesn't have like a shelter over there and she has 2 kids. So they usually go down to the basement, but this basement is not like super, I would say, protected. So it's super scary. She tell every time if something is like flying over her house, she says like windows are shaking, doors are shaking, like, and they can hear all the stuff that is going on around their house. So my shelter is more safe because it's like underground, it's parking lot, so it's more safe. For her, it's not safe at all. In
Okay,
case something hits her house, there will be like nothing left.
right.
This is what happened with the family in Lviv like 2 weeks ago. They were in a private house and they had like only basement, but their house were destroyed like completely. Nothing left from the house at all.
Okay, thank you. Um, any other questions for Daria before we move on? Okay. Well, I'm so excited to have Agatha here. Nuria was at the Homeless World Cup at the end of August and had the pleasure of meeting Ashoka. I have known of their reputation for a very long time. They have a very incredible global presence, a lot of entrepreneurial and social entrepreneurial projects. And they're just out there supporting change makers, doing really incredible things on the ground in so many countries. And so Nuri was chatting with them, and again, our Ukraine office came up, and Agata is in Poland and they're getting ready to launch or may have already launched. We'll have her clarify that in Ukraine. But Agata, I'm so excited you're here. I'm so excited for everybody. We have a couple of people who, again, I can't wait to share the recording with them because I think they'll be a great fit for what you're doing. But if you could first just start us off, tell everyone who's not aware a little about Ashoka.
Sure. Thank you for having me again. Just one thing, if I could add to Daria's,
Yeah, please.
sharing. I think what is really important is that the Russians, they know how to bomb or to send drones so that you don't get your sleep. So this is basically designed in a way so that people don't sleep. And I'm actually using probably the same Telegram thing. Well, of course, I have all the apps because when I travel to Ukraine, I use them. So basically, the best time for sending drones is around 5 o'clock at night in the 4 or 5, so that they make sure that you fall asleep and then they wake you up. And then they let you go back and then they wake you up. So it's like it's a torture, right? So it is designed that way. And I think this is also important, that the timing it's just so evil. Anyway.
I got something I wanted to add to your words. I'm sorry for interruption, but sometimes the air alarm, just Christy and Vicky and Lee, for your understanding, the air alarm can start like around 1 or 2 a.m. Then we can go back home. Then you fell asleep, and then the air alarms go on again, and you'll run to the shelter again. This is how it works. Yeah.
Exactly. That was my experience. I was in Kiev a couple of weeks ago, and that was exactly it. Like, we basically spent the whole time in the shelter. Like we said, we're not going back to the hotel room. It just doesn't make sense. So anyway, yes, talking about Ashoka. So what is Ashoka? Ashoka is this is, we think, and we even have some proof that we are the largest network of social innovators in the world. We operate in 99 countries and territories. And the exciting thing is that we have now started to work on Ukraine being the 100th, which is, a good round number. So what we do is the basic work that we do is we look for change makers, people who have a new impactful idea to solve social problems. This idea has to be an idea that not only has this possibility to be scaled, but it also has to be for the good of all. This is very important. So it's not just for my tribe. It's not just for my family. It has to be something that really empowers as many people as possible, and hopefully everyone who gets involved. So we look for those people. We have 5 criteria. They sound simple, but they are super complicated. So the first one is new idea. The second one is impact. And the next 3 are about the person, because we support people. So we do support organization, but through supporting people. So the person has to be entrepreneurial, creative, and have a very strong ethical fiber. And it's kind of that's it, although it is not that's it. We look for those people everywhere in the world. And once we find them, what we do is we support them financially. So we fund, we sometimes call it a stipend, but it's more like, it's like salary. Because we know that people who work in the nonprofit sector, they don't earn well. They sometimes have to do some side jobs or whatever. And what we want them to do is to focus fully on their idea, because we think this idea is a gem and it can really solve problems. So we want that person to be fully focused on that. This is also one of the conditions of the stipend. Like, you will get it, but for 3 years, when you get it, you really have to focus on that 100%. And we also support through mentorship and networking. This is actually very interesting. I had today a conversation with a Ukrainian incredible Ukrainian change maker. I'm sure, Daria, you heard about her, Olga Rudneva, who created the superhumans. She's also in Lviv. Superhumans, for those of you who haven't heard about it, it's like one of the most incredible prosthetic center for people who lost their limbs due to the war, mostly for people who are somehow involved in with the army, but they don't have to be only soldiers. And the way she created this place is just how health services should look like. You know, it's like, so for example, just to give you a very simple example, so I asked her, like, so what is new in your idea? And she said, well, as sad as it sounds, what's new is that, for example, the patient is part of the team that elaborates the plan for the patient. That's not the case in normal hospital, in normal healthcare system. So, you know, we look for people like this. The most exciting thing she said today from Ashoka point of view is she said, well, you know, this is not really about, she said, we want to revolutionize healthcare. She has a plan. She knows how to do that. But then she said, you know what? I'm not doing this. I mean, I am doing this to help those people. I'm doing this to have better healthcare. But in reality, I'm doing this because I want my country to be the best country in the world. And she says, this war is going to end at a certain point. And when it ends, I want us to use this opportunity and build the best country we can. And the way we build this health system, you know, can be based on the values that we want to see in our country when all this is over. So that was really, really moving. And that's, you know, this is part of my job, conversations like this. So I'm really crying a lot these days, but these are tears of gratitude. So basically, what we do, answering your question, is we look for people who are a bit like Olga Rudneva. I'm not sure if, you know, she's a candidate for Ashoka Fellow. And then once we find them, we really support them, because we think that if someone knows how to solve a problem that we all have, then we want that solution to be accessible everywhere. You know, if they know how to work with prosthetic patients, well, I'm sure, you know, that this know-how will be useful also in Germany, in the US, and in Guatemala, because those problems are everywhere. So this is basically what we do as Ashoka. But this is just a very, you know, it's a very quick thing, because working with all those people all around the world, we now have around 4,000 Ashoka Fellows in our network. We also see patterns. And that's the most exciting part of our job. So, you know, we kind of see, oh, what's next? You know, like, oh, suddenly so many people talk about this, or so many people have this idea. So that's another thing that we do is we try to see what's next, and how we can prepare our communities to make sure that you know, they can use that opportunity for their development and for the good of all.
Yeah. And so what are some of those patterns that you're seeing?
Well, you know, some of them are kind of obvious. So, for example, one of the things that we see right now is a lot of conversations about how artificial intelligence, of course, is a threat, but it also is a tool. And one of the things that we might be missing is to make sure that people who create social impact use the possibilities that AI can bring. So that's one thing. And we see more and more concept of how to use AI for good. Obviously, knowing that it is in many ways a very dangerous thing. So there is this thing around AI. I think another thing, at least what we see in Europe, is that there is a lot of, but also in Africa, a lot of programs focus on participation. So how to make sure that people want to participate. And I think it's very much around, the feeling of agency, which is, interesting, because people who have the feeling of agency, they do not vote for populist rulers and for dictators, because they don't think they need someone strong to come and solve the problems, but they understand that this is a common responsibility to do that. So I think, seeing this wave of authoritarian regimes in the world, the civic response is, okay, let's show people that they can do things, that they can be, can do things, and they can influence the reality around them. And we see lots and lots of concepts around true participation and civic activities.
Okay. And then one of the things I had you clarify when Nuri and I met with you earlier is the fellows do need to be founding a nonprofit, right? It is a nonprofit,
Yes.
not a for-profit. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. They do need to be funding a nonprofit. So because they are entrepreneurial, they sometimes have a couple of entities.
Sure.
So they could have an entity that is a nonprofit and then say, okay, I want to be independent financially, so I will also have this business. Usually this business will reinvest its profits into the cause, right? But yes, it is important that they are nonprofits.
Okay. And then, so I guess let's also talk about the process. What is the pre-process of interviews and everything, and what is the process going through as an Ashoka Fellow?
Okay, so the pre-process, thank you for this question, because this is also one of the reasons why I was obviously super curious of your meetings and I wanted to come and to meet you. But I also have an ask.
Yes,
and it's related to the pre-process.
Perfect.
So if after this conversation you think of someone who you think could be a candidate, please do let me know. I'm going to put my email into the chat, and if you feel like letting me know, please do. So the first step we do is we build a nominator network. So we basically find people who are kind of hubs, and it's very difficult to think of people who are more hubs than people who are in logistics. So we do look for people who know other people, but who are also trusted, who are, because we are in a new place. We have to find people that we can trust, that will understand what we do and what we are looking for. And generally what we do, this is what is very difficult in Ukraine now, is we try to have someone in each region. But in Ukraine, it's like super difficult.
Right.
It's always, and it also gets political. Like, if we go to Ukraine, should we have someone in Crimea? Well, yes and no, because we cannot, but we should, So it's like, it's very difficult in this place. The same thing with the Donetsk region, sure. and everywhere. So in Ukraine, it's a bit different, and we are still building the network. So the first thing is we build a network of nominators, and we talk to them, and we tell them what are our criteria. Sometimes, for example, in Poland, we do an annual nominators retreat, where we actually invite all those people to one nice place. We talk about their candidates. We usually do some kind of training so that they really understand what we are looking for. I hope to do that in Ukraine as well. And then, we collect nominations, and we don't have any time frames. So you can nominate anytime. We are also theme agnostic. So you can, any new idea that is for the good of all, tell us. It can be in any subject that you can think of. And then what we do is we do a lot of, we do what is called a first opinion interview. So we meet the people, we travel to see them and to see where they work. And usually we also meet their beneficiaries. We also do a lot of background checks. So we talk to other people that they work with, etc. And then this is a difficult moment for every team on the ground, because this is where our influence ends. Because then the process is taken over by the global structure.
Okay.
So the local team, what we can do is we can say, hey, we think we have a candidate. We did our research, we did the background checks, we are excited. We can tell you what we understand is the new idea of this person. We can tell you how we see the impact, the creativity, entrepreneurship, and ethical fiber. But then, and that's the funny part, someone from a different continent comes. It has to be a person from a different continent, and that person is called the second opinion reviewer. And it's usually a very, very experienced senior person that's been working with Ashoka for many years, and they do interview with the candidates. Okay. We will probably do this in Poland, so we will ask the candidates to travel to Poland. We hope to do it next year. So once this happens, the second opinion can say, yes, this person is absolutely brilliant, let's follow up. Or they can have questions. So they can say, yeah, well, but, can you check this? Can you check that? If we do our job well on the ground, they'll say yes. So we try to do our job the best we can. And then the almost last stage is something that we call a panel. So a panel is where we have, again, trusted people from outside of Ashoka who know our criteria, and they have interviews with the candidate. Okay. Short 1-hour interviews. And then the candidate is free to go, and they sit, and that is the panel, and they discuss, and there is no voting. They have to all agree that this person is an Ashoka Fellow material or not. And their recommendation goes to the global board, and the global board is composed of people from all the continents. And they then, based on the materials they get from the panel, from the second opinion, and from the local team, they say yes, or they can say no. Sure. It does happen sometimes. Or they can say, well, we still have questions. Mm-hmm. But again, if everything is well done on the way, we have an Ashoka Fellow. And once we have them, like I said, we fund a stipend if they need it, because sometimes there are people who don't need it. So if they need it, we do fund a stipend. There's no one amount of the stipend. We have a very fancy algorithm that calculates what are the needs of a person. And and then the most exciting part starts. So we start connecting people with other people, making sure that we can really support them in developing their idea. Just today, I connected Olga Rudneva with a Spanish fellow who also works on prosthetics, but for kids. Mm-hmm. So he creates those maker spaces where kids can design their prosthetics themselves. Wow. So, and she said, oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. We're going to, so that's, this is part of Ashoka magic, because then they get in touch and they do something together, and the impact grows. And once you're a fellow, you're always a fellow, unless you break the law. And in a country where there is a healthy legal system, and then there is a process of defellowing, sure, which doesn't happen very often.
Yeah. And so they're funded if they need funding, they're funded for 3 years. Is that correct?
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Awesome.
But they are supported for a lifetime.
Sure. Fantastic.
And the crazy thing about Ashoka Fellows is they never retire.
Oh, yeah.
They don't.
I would imagine they would get too bored.
They don't.
Yeah.
It never ends.
Yeah. And so are there any, can be anywhere in the world, are there some projects that we may be aware of that came from Ashoka? Or some that you want to highlight?
Yeah, you might have heard of fair trade.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So that's one of the projects that was developed. I think you've heard of Wikipedia.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm on there all the time. Yep.
So the founder of Wikipedia, Jimmy Wales, is an Ashoka Fellow.
Oh, wow.
He was elected before he was famous.
Oh.
We actually also have a couple of Peace Nobel Prize winners. So Kailash Satyarthi, who works against child labor, he is also an Ashoka Fellow. And Malala, so
Oh, yeah.
the school, she's not an Ashoka Fellow,
Okay.
but the school that she was not allowed to go was run by an Ashoka Fellow.
Wow.
So, yes, maybe you have heard of a movement that is called Slow Food.
Yes.
So that's also Carlo Petrini, who is an Italian Ashoka Fellow. So yes, there are a couple of big movements that you will know about. Teach for All, Teach for America, Teach for Ukraine. There's actually a great chapter of Teach for Ukraine in Ukraine.
Oh, wow.
So that's also Wendy Kopp, who is an Ashoka Fellow.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, does anybody have any questions for Agata?
I do.
Go for it.
What is the timeline? You explained the application process really well. And by the way, I love hearing about your organization. It's really inspiring. It's fantastic. I'm looking forward to reading more about it. But what is the timeline from application to acceptance?
That's a very good question. So usually it's like a good, healthy pregnancy. So it's 9 months. It's 9 months. But sometimes it can be a bit longer if at a certain stage there is this kind of, step back. So if the global board, for example, says, oh, we need to understand better, for example, the business model, right? So we need to gather the information and come back. But generally it's around 9 months.
Okay. And then this maybe, let me know if this is explained well on the website, but how are you guys funded?
That's a very good question. So we are we are not funded by public funds anywhere in the world. Like we don't use public funds. So we are funded by private donations and grants from people or foundations. We also sometimes have partnerships. So, for example, we have a beautiful partnership with there is this German company called Boehringer Ingelheim, which is a pharmaceutical company, and we have a partnership with them, which is called Making More Health, where they fund stipends for all health-related fellows. The reason they do this is because they said that doing this with Ashoka allows them to see what's around the corner for their industry. So this was very interesting. Like they said, oh, thanks to you, we know what will come next. So we want to do that. And also, they enjoy, they also use this a lot for their internal processes. So for example, their executive directors have this secondment possibilities to go and work for Ashoka Fellows as a part of their development. So they really work with that. Oh. So there are a couple of companies that we work closer with, also with Lego, where we had learning through play. Mm-hmm. So all fellows that were about learning through play, they were funded by Lego.
Wow.
And with Schneider Electric, which is a French company, although it sounds German, they actually supported fellows in the field of energy and energy poverty.
Wow. Super cool. All right. Any other questions for Agata? All right, well, be thinking of who you'd like to nominate because I know everybody on this call knows incredible people in Ukraine. So yeah, let's all be thinking about that and can't wait to see what comes out of this and who you guys decide to partner with and work with and some really incredible stories. Hi, Jim. It's so good to see you. It's been a minute. How are you? Oh, you've got your mute on. There you are. Oh, I still can't hear you. Can anybody else hear? Not yet.
So just I put my email in the chat, and
Yep.
if you feel like sending me someone, please do. Like really, just send me the names,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna look out. And I also put a one-pager with a very short
Perfect.
description of our criteria and the process.
Super helpful.
Thank you so much for having me, Christy.
Yeah, I'll put that in our follow-up email as well. All right. Still can't hear you, Jim. So sorry about that. Not sure what's going on there. Nuria, you want to tell us where you're headed in just a few weeks? In case we have any connections there? Nuria, do you have a minute?
Yes, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
that's
I
okay.
was just dealing with my multiple screens. Well, hello everyone. I've been very impressed with Agatha story. I loved Ashoka, and well, it's amazing what you guys are doing. So yes, next week I'll be attending the 8X conference in Geneva. I don't know if you are familiar with that. I'll be representing Vector. That is one of the largest gatherings for the humanitarian and development community. So they will bring together more than 3,000 attendees from all over the world. So yeah, this year the theme is future-proofing humanitarian aid, which really aligns what we do at Vector. So we combining logistics expertise with purpose and resilience, you know. And given that we have an office in Ukraine, this event is especially relevant. So many of the discussions will be focused on crisis response, supply chain continuity, or rebuilding efforts, all areas where our team on the ground has firsthand experience. So I'll be joining different sessions, and I'll be meeting some people, other partners as well. And of course, we will be exploring new logistics partnerships. And overall, I think it's going to be a great opportunity to build connections and share insights from our work. And I can't wait to go to be there. To be honest, I am very excited about that. So yeah, I'm gonna make the most of those 2 days that I'm gonna be there, and I'm gonna see. Let me see if I can gather the email so you have a better idea. I have it here a minute ago. 8X.
Oh, I put the link in chat.
Okay. Oh, thank you,
Yep.
Christy. Yeah. So yeah, that I'm very excited about the conference. It's gonna be the first conference that I will be attending with that focus, and I can't wait to be there.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if anybody, if you know somebody who's attending, then Nuria would love to meet them. We can certainly put you in touch. Nuria is such an extrovert and loves people, and she works from home, and she's our only employee in the UK. So anytime she gets around a crowd of people, she gets super excited. Um, we're happy to connect anybody you know who might be at the event. So, all right. Let's see. Oh, I still can't hear you, Jim. I don't know what's going on. Technology. Zoya, are you able to say something? I think you're a first timer here. Still not working. Okay. I don't know what's happening. Let's see. Lee, before we wrap up, do you have, is there anything you want, while we have people here, do you want to make a request? Obviously, you're collecting fire equipment, anything like that. Is there anything specific our network can be looking for you?
Um, Actually, what we're doing now is we're doing a lot of partnerships. One is that we pack now for Chalice of Mercy, and so I'm also connected with the Resolve group. We're also shipping for local organizations to Ukraine, such as the Shepherds Foundation, and so trying to, in a sense, gather together things that need to be sent.
Yeah.
And then what we do is we have various partners, and it's up to the recipient and as well as the person designated for it to make sure that they connect with the things which are there. We've had 100% good success with that. It's worked out well, and so it gets things there very cheaply. I mean, our cost to ship to Ukraine is about 40 cents a pound.
Okay.
And so if anybody's in the Midwest, if there's ways in which we can connect
Yeah.
and partner together, that's what I'd really be happy to do.
Yes. Fantastic. Yeah, you have certainly perfected packing, you and your wife.
Well, it's good. We have a lot of help, candidly.
Yes.
I mean, it's got about 50 volunteers a week that help. And
Incredible.
so it's just everybody making a contribution. They work together and we're able then to do things. So that's
Yeah.
the good thing about it.
I love it. That's awesome. Thank you so much. You've been so dedicated. Uh, Super encouraging always. All right. Anything else before we sign off this time? And I will send out, we'll have, let's say it's October, so we'll have a meeting in December, our last meeting of 2025. Here we are. I can't believe we're in Q4. But thank you all for this update. Daria, thank you for being here and letting us know what's going on in your world. I think that's always really helpful to hear. Agata, amazing. I can't wait to see what comes next. Vicky, Jim, Lee, you're always doing incredible things. Jim, be sure to send me an update via email. But thank you all for being here. I know even just talking to people from Ukraine, sometimes it feels like, things have stopped or things are overlooked or people have moved on. And I think these groups are a great reminder that, the people who show up, the people who watch after, the people we get emails from, there are still lots of people working on this issue. I mean, I love the fact that every week 50 people are showing up to Lee's barn to help pack. And Lee, you need to get some photos of that for us. But thank you all for the incredible job you're doing. Every day matters. So keep up the great work and we will see you again soon. Thank you and have a good day.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so
Christine.
much.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.